Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. How's everybody doing? Good to see everyone. Laughing Panda, how are you doing? Frozen/Ernesto on YouTube and Twitch, good to see you. Laughly, good to see you, man. D-Daver, what's up, man? Good to see you. I've got my coffee. It is June 3rd. There's more news to cover. It's an overwhelming amount. It's hard for me to keep up. I appreciate everybody being here, whether it's now or you're watching this later on. At some point, I'm going to have to turn these into their own videos, but for the time being, they're going to stay live for now. I just don't have the time. It's difficult, but yeah, I appreciate all the views. Drop ones in chat, all the chats, if you guys are doing well. Otherwise, drop twos. So as per usual, I will be covering the news today as your host, Spiro, the master programmer. All one word, lowercase, with a capital P, a big P, for obvious reasons. I've got my pretend news thing here. All right, I've got my pretend here. Got my pretend tie, right? Everything's tied. Let's see what we got. Hey, Johnny, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Laugh dropped a 3. Laughing Panda did 1.5. Johnny did a 1. Nice. Good. That's what I want to see. I want to see numbers that don't make sense. All right, so let's go over the... Ready for the pretend news. Yeah, let's go over the news that helps confirm all my biases and makes all my points for me. Makes all my points completely, unassailably true, constantly true, nothing but true. Because I live in an echo chamber. Vibe news. That's right, Laughly. That's right. We're going to get into it. Okay, here we go. Don't hallucinate. Thanks, D-Daver. I'll keep that in mind. Let me just switch over like this. Go kind of like... It's hard to see the... I don't have much space on my desk, unfortunately, so it's kind of hard to get the positioning right, but I'll do my best here. Let's get into it, folks. Delta can sue CrowdStrike over computer outage that caused 7,000 canceled flights. If you remember the CrowdStrike issue, they essentially had a problem where their systems were accessed by nefarious actors, and as a result of that, there were a lot of different issues on the web. Quite a few different issues on the web. Now, this particular court case is taking place in Georgia. The Georgia judge ruled that Delta Airlines can proceed with most of its lawsuit against CrowdStrike over a software update that CrowdStrike allowed, which caused massive outages, 7,000 canceled flights, etc. Part of the reason why the lawsuit is enabled to go through is because the judge felt like there was negligence, gross negligence by CrowdStrike by allowing a faulty update to go through without proper testing and other types of mechanisms that would have prevented it. So it's allowing essentially claims of computer trespass and fraud to advance. This is a rather large blow to companies out there who think that not focusing on security issues is going to somehow just get swept under the rug. No, it will not get swept under the rug. You're taking a big risk by not dealing with security issues that you have, even though it might seem costly at first. But the cost of not dealing with them is far greater than the cost of them biting you in the ass later on. So this is going to go through. It's going to be obviously tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. You can see the outage cost $550 million in lost revenue and added expenses, offset by $50 million of fuel savings. So they did account however you want to look at it, they did account for the fact that they saved fuel by not sending those flights out. So, but still, they lost money. So if you're a company out there who thinks that it's not worth it to spend time on buttoning down the hatches, let's say, it is worth your time. It absolutely is worth your time. And we covered an article yesterday that went over how the impression that people get of your company when you have a cybersecurity issue dramatically degrades. All this stuff costs more money than it takes to actually get ahead of the game and let people who are working in your company, programmers, systems administrators, DevOps, developer operations, etc., invest in this kind of stuff. It pays off. All right, now, next one. Let me just make sure I've got the right one pulled up. I sure do. NSW, New South Wales Education Department caught unaware after Microsoft Teams began collecting students' biometric data. It went unnoticed for a month after it was automatically enabled for video conferencing app users in March. So the Microsoft Teams voice and face enrollment feature was enabled by default for students and teachers. Just to be clear, for students and teachers, for everybody, collecting biometric data for a month before the education department disabled it. The department then went and deleted all of the information that it found, and then they had to call government officials and report it because there were obviously serious privacy concerns. And there was a parent here who said that even though they were alerted to the matter, they were reassured by the department that their data had been deleted. What really got to them was the concept that maybe other parents had not even aware that this data had been collected in the first place. So it's not just that the data was collected, it's also about how the notification even went out. I guess they didn't satisfy everyone's, I don't know, what everybody wanted to see in terms of notification that this actually happened. So make of that what you will, but this is absolutely insane that a default configuration, hint, hint, Amazon buckets, allowed for this kind of data to be captured in the first place. All right, next article. Let me make sure it's zoomed out, pull it in. Here we go. New Orleans police secretly used live facial recognition to nab people right on the street. Now, this one is a particularly worrisome article. What essentially happened here is that New Orleans police secretly used AI-powered facial recognition from 200 cameras for 2 years, despite the fact that the city had a ban on using facial recognition software, particularly for law enforcement. However, they just ignored it. I think literally in this article, when I was reading it, I think they said that they literally just ignored it because they didn't think that anybody would actually care to check, and they felt like the outcomes were worth the risks. So law enforcement in New Orleans just went ahead and used AI facial recognition, and they did it for several years, and then they would just go and grab people that they felt were dangerous, for example. Now, I will state, to be very, very clear, they didn't just grab people just randomly or, people who hadn't done anything. Essentially what they did is that they have a list of people who are known criminals, who maybe have evaded them or who maybe are at risk of committing offenses, or maybe who are of interest to particular crimes, and they can't track them down. And so what they did was they would use the facial recognition system to track these people, and then once the facial recognition system says they're here or there or whatever, they did, fortunately, have a human who went through and confirmed whether the recognition process was accurate enough that it warranted action by law enforcement. So at least there's like a little bit of, hey, at least you had a human checking this and it wasn't all based on AI hallucinated that somebody existed and then you went ahead with it. However, they did completely disregard the law. It was absolutely banned and it shouldn't have been done, but they thought they could get away with it. And so they did for a few years. They actually did. I don't know if there's going to be any particular legal repercussions here. I'm sure there will be, but I don't know what they would be. If anything comes up, I'll make sure to keep an eye on it and update. Now, this one was sent to me by a viewer. Let me pull it up here. This one in particular is a little bit of an older one, but it's recently reported, if that makes sense. It's a recently reported older article. The inside story of a council held to ransom in cyber attack. This is the UK. So once again, not even the king, maybe at this time it was the queen, honestly, not even royalty can escape cybersecurity nightmares. So what happened is that in 2020, there was a UK council that was disrupted. It was completely shut down. Well, maybe not completely, but it was very much disrupted. And because they were held ransom by a cybersecurity hack. And payment was demanded from the group that hacked them. So February 2020 disrupted everything from bin collections to social services and decisions about how to keep vulnerable children safe. In other words, these hackers got into the system, asked for a ransom demand to release the system, de-encrypt the data, etc. And because of this, the entire council for this particular portion of the UK, the city, essentially could not operate basic services. I mean, imagine bin collections not working because some hackers are holding it ransom. Now, here's the kicker. Not only did this happen, but the council refused to pay. So they got an email like, hey, pay up. And then the council's like, no, we're not paying. Now, I can understand that position. Once you pay, do you really think, I mean, I've covered this already. The statistics are actually quite true here. If you pay the ransom, it is, you increase the risk that these people are going to come back and ask for an even higher ransom or demand more money from you to not release the data that they already captured. So typically speaking, you shouldn't pay the ransom. I've already covered that. However, the recovery process as a result of that was long and drawn out. I don't think that we actually know how long it took for them to recover because they essentially just worked their way through it without paying the ransom. This is the kind of stuff that has second, third, fourth order impact. These kinds of security issues have meaningful impact on people's lives who are not in the programming industry or in the technical industry at all in terms of software and websites and video games and all of that. If you look here, social services and elderly care services were knocked out. All of this stuff does not have a quantifiable number on the impact these security issues have. Yes, we need to do better. I'm getting really tired of covering these kinds of stories because this stuff should not be happening at the rate that they seem to be happening. I should not have a massive backlog going back to almost a month now of stories I have not yet covered, covering cybersecurity issue after cybersecurity issue, AI issue after AI issue, third-party dependency issue after another one, all kinds of stuff that happens with regards to the stupid decisions that we're making in tech because we cater to developers' experience instead of things that matter, and we cater to the things that make short-term money instead of long-term money. Like, we're just so completely short-sighted in this industry, and we do not care about the impact we have on real people's lives. It's tiresome, and it's self-induced harm at this point, because the elderly care could be someone you care about, these social services could be someone you care about, or it could even be you. So it's really important that the message gets out there that if you're a programmer in this industry, or you're a manager, or you're an executive, or you're anybody in this industry at any capacity, please take the information that I'm sharing here and go and persuade other people around you that we have to do better. And the good news is we can, and it's really not that hard. Even basic things can be done to improve the general security of the tech industry, to improve the general performance, to improve the general quality of the tech industry. It really isn't that hard. It just takes a little bit of effort. In a few months, we could turn a lot of this around, and we just seem to be completely lost to that entire premise. All right, up next. Walmart eliminates about 1,500 jobs on technology team. There's not a heck of a lot to talk about here. I just want to bring up that this is happening. There is a website that keeps track of all the companies that have done layoffs, and it does so as kind of like a spreadsheet. One of these days, we'll go over that spreadsheet and we'll talk about all the different companies and the layoffs they've done. But just so that this is, on everybody's radar that this is happening. This is from May 21st. So they're laying off 1,500 employees. And essentially what they're trying to do is save some money, pretty much. That's what they're trying to do. The people who are being laid off cover technology, e-commerce, advertising. So it's not exactly a purely technical layoff thing. And what they're trying to do is create some new roles to target some new business opportunities. In other words, they're trying to pivot a little bit because they're not doing so well. So layoffs still continue. And I have a bunch of layoff articles on layoffs that have happened recently. I believe Microsoft is doing a layoff today. I have an article on that. I just haven't read it. I just don't have the time to cover all this stuff. So take that for what it is. More layoffs. It seems to never be ending. All right, up next. Let me go up here. So this is the 2025 Thales, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, data threat report. I just don't care how to pronounce it. AI, quantum, and the evolving data threatscape. You can get the report. You just have to submit your information, and you can get the report to your email inbox should you choose to do so. Now, what I found interesting about this is some of these statistics that they went over. They I can't remember, what was it, like 3,100 companies, something like that. They surveyed, and they got some stats out of them. So most companies, 69% of them, think that AI is fast moving, but they have a huge concern over AI security risk, followed by a lack of integrity, 64%, and trustworthiness, 57%. Hey, I'm glad to see that. Companies are wised up to how AI should be used within their company. 73% of respondents are investing in Gen AI specific tools, with 20% using newly allocated budget. Now, these two things do not track to me. You have a portion of people who understand the risk, security, trustworthiness, etc., and its lack thereof in AI, and yet even more of them are leaning into it and using it more and more. I don't understand, except for FOMO. It's just stupid decision making, fear of missing out. You just want to do it because it's the way everything's going and you have the budget for it, and so you're going to do it. Now, this one in particular stood out to me. Trends in data security. Magical to see this number. 24% have little or no confidence in identifying where their data is stored. 24% have little or no confidence in identifying where their data is stored. 14% reported experiencing a recent data breach. These numbers just give you the warm and fuzzies, don't they? And then they talk about quantum computing. They talk about, encryption and other crap. 34% of enterprises use more than 500 APIs. Yeah. 59% of respondents said code vulnerabilities are a major concern for application security, placing it as the top response. From cloud DevOps to platform engineering, 55% said secrets management is the leading DevOps security challenge. 16% identified secrets management as most effective in protecting data despite the devastating impact of compromised secrets. These numbers are mind-blowing. Not only do you have a vast majority of DevOps saying, we can't keep our secrets safe, which you would think would be a solved, very basic default problem that would just not really exist at such high numbers. Over half of the 3,000 whatever it was people who were surveyed in this study, they have a problem with secrets management. It's no wonder that the tech industry is going downhill fast. We can't even keep basic stuff in check. And then only 16% said that secrets management is most effective. What? This should be 100%. This shouldn't even be a survey question. It should just be, secrets management, like all your keys and everything that's part of your deployment process and all of that and in your code and yada, yada, yada. That should be like the maybe not the number one thing you do, but pretty high up there in terms of security management for your code base. What the hell is going on out there? How brain dead is the tech industry right now? And then consumers wonder why they're paying out the ass for stuff that doesn't work anymore. And why there's ads and subscriptions and stuff everywhere, and why your data gets leaked all the time and all that. Clearly. Okay, now I have one for Ross. I don't know if Ross is around. But if Ross is around, here we go. New Jersey hospital hack exposes patient's personal details. This is from May 27th. That's how far behind I am. It's a few, like 1 or 2 weeks behind. The Camden headquartered healthcare organization sometime last year noticed that something was off, May 2024. So they went ahead, took actions to try and secure their systems. They hired a third-party cybersecurity to investigate. Then the investigation finished 10 months later, and then victims were informed. So what happened? Tens of thousands of people had their full names and social security numbers exposed in the attack. According to information Cooper submitted to the Maine Attorney General's office, over 57,000 people were impacted. Social security numbers alone are plenty. It's all you need to start doing second, third, fourth order identity theft from this kind of access. 57,000 people are at risk. All you need is 1 or 2, and you can make enough money to keep you going for another year if you're an unethical hacker, as it seems to be the case here. So yet another health security hack. Next. I can't count how many times I have made the argument against using package managers, third-party package managers to do npm install, Rust crate, cargo, whatever it is. I don't care what it is, but all of this stuff is just an easy button to take your responsibility of building something yourself as best as you can and handing it off to a third party. In some cases, I can absolutely see the reason why you would want to do that. And in some cases, it's not even bad. But in most cases, and I mean in over 95% of cases, you probably shouldn't be doing that. You probably should not be importing third parties because nobody's going to care about the thing you're doing as much as you when you do it. And as a result of that, here we go. NPM once again proving that it is a piece of shit package management system that nobody should be using. It is almost as cancerous to the tech industry as React has been. Destructive malware available in NPM repo went unnoticed for 2 years. There were malicious packages in here that were mimicking popular NPM libraries. And they went undetected for 2 years. They were downloaded more than 6,000 times. They were set to spontaneously detonate on specific dates with no warning. And what could this crap do? Well, let's get into it a little bit. 8 8 packages using names that closely mimicked those of widely used legitimate packages contained destructive payloads designed to corrupt or delete important data and crash systems. The packages have been available for download for more than 2 years and have over 6,200 downloads over that time. From subtle data corruption to aggressive systems shutdowns and file deletions, the packages were designed to target different parts of the JavaScript ecosystem with varied tactics. The tactics include deleting files related to Vue.js, a front-end JavaScript framework for building user interfaces. There you go, don't use Vue. Corrupting core JavaScript functions with random data. Corrupting core JavaScript functions with random data. Corrupting all browser storage mechanisms with an advanced 3-file attack that broke authentication tokens, user preferences, shopping carts, and application states while creating hard-to-diagnose intermittent failures that persisted through page refreshes. Multi-phased systems attacks that deleted Vue.js framework files and forced system shutdowns. Some of the payloads were limited to detonate only on specific dates in 2023, but in some cases, a phase that was scheduled to begin in July of that year was given no termination date. That means that the threats remain persistent, although he said that the activation dates have passed, and so if you have updated, then you've probably passed the trigger date that would actually trigger it. However, this kind of an attack is so, on the one hand, skilled and smart because it completely evades the detection of people who use these packages by also using typo squatting, slop squatting like AI does. But it's also very, very dangerous because what it means is that anybody who was using any of these packages in their Vue program, on their website or whatever, would have pushed this stuff out to potentially tens of thousands of users. So what's missing out of this is not the 6,200 downloads of these packages. What's missing out of this is how many front-end users who went on the websites that were built using these packages actually suffered from the dangers of whatever these packages were meant to do. And that's a number that you can't know. One more time, stop being lazy assholes and actually build your own shit. Holy shit. Sick and tired of reading these articles. Mysterious database of 184 million records exposes vast array of login credentials. That's right. A trove of breach data, which has now been taken down, includes user logins for platforms including Apple, Google, and Meta. Among the exposed accounts are ones linked to dozens of governments. What do we think? Do we think this might be insecure S3 buckets again? So, 184 million records, all kinds of credentials. There's a breach hunter who works for Cybernews, Jeremiah Fowler. He discovered an exposed Elastic database containing 162,718 records across more than 47 gigs of data. Now, I know it's not a cloud bucket. An Elastic database is really a database. However, how about we do this? So down below me right now, down below me, right down here, below Mario here, bashing React, a cancer to the entire tech industry, also a cult, just like AI. How about we update it? And instead of going down to 0, we're going to go down to 0.5. We're going to consider it a mini kind of bucket, insecure bucket. All right, so let's do that right now. I'm going to go, let's go over here, and then we'll go here, and then I'll change it to 0.5. All right, so 0.5. Okay, we're setting the counter to that. There it is. This database didn't include any clues about who owns the data or where it may have been gathered from. Usually you can tell. That's what the researcher said here. The sheer range and scope of the login details include accounts to a large array of services, indicating that the data is a compilation kept by researchers investigating a data breach or other cybercriminal activity, or owned directly by attackers and stolen by InfoStealer malware. Can you imagine if researchers like Jeremiah Fowler here, but not exactly him, were gathering exposed databases or exposed buckets, things like this, finding this information, putting it all together in one place and saying, here's all the stuff that's exposed, because maybe at one time we want to tell the companies that they have information exposed, but they themselves did not lock their own research, thereby allowing a hacker to get access to even more research by white hat researchers. That would be stupidity at a level I cannot even describe in sheer words. The English language cannot contain the words that would adequately describe how much stupidity that would be if it's true. There is no confirmation that it is true. The stuff that you can find in here, a sample of 10,000 records, 479 Facebook accounts, 475 Google accounts, 240 Instagram accounts, 227 Roblox accounts, 209 Discord accounts, more than 100 each of Microsoft, Netflix, and PayPal accounts. That's a tiny fraction. It also includes Amazon, Apple, Nintendo, Snapchat, Spotify, Twitter, WordPress, and Yahoo logins, among others. A keyword search for the sample by Fowler returned 187 instances of the word bank and 57 of wallet. That is your family, your kids, your parents, your grandparents, your friends, somebody you care about having their data exposed to such a easy to get degree that you have no idea how their lives are going to be ruined by this, all because the tech industry does not give two shits about quality software, quality websites, performance, and security anymore. Thank you, tech industry. Thank you, all you lazy assholes who make this happen. In the 10,000 sample records, there were 220 email addresses with .gov domains. They were linked to at least 29 countries, including the US, Australia, which doesn't exist, it's not a real place, so it doesn't count, Canada, China, India, Israel, New Zealand, Saudi Arabia, and the United Kingdom. No idea where these things originally came from, but there they are. Next article. Let me make sure I got the right one here. I do. iOS sleep management app leaked personal user details online. I said it before. I think I said it yesterday. If you're on iOS at this point, just walk out the door, remove any password protection on your phone, just hand it to the next 5 strangers you meet, let them have your phone for 5 minutes. There's literally no difference anymore. These things are hacked to high hell. iOS sleep management app leaked personal user details online. A sleep management app. The Sleep Journey app exposed personal and health data of at least 25,000 users. It was downloaded 30,000 times. And there it is. Now, here we go. A misconfigured Firebase server. It's meant to be temporary, but because it was misconfigured, a bunch of people got their information leaked. So you know what? I think that counts as resetting the counter to a full 0. So I'm going to do that right now. Our counter goes back down to 0. There we go. We're back down to 0. 0 days since the last misconfigured, let's call it database, bucket, cloud service, whatever it is. Stuff that you would think would be typical, par for the course. You would double check it. However, that's not the case. So the information that got leaked includes names, email addresses, dates of birth, gender, sleeping data, habits such as alcohol and nicotine consumption, before sleep activities, and medication use. Now, I want you to imagine that you're a nefarious actor who does not care about the, let's say, the safety and health of these people. And what you do is you provide this information to an AI system, an LLM, and you ask the LLM to come up with all kinds of phishing campaigns that target people's fears, such as, hey, I noticed that you have an alcohol problem or a nicotine consumption problem. Why don't you click this link or download this piece of software? And, if you don't, certain things might come out about you. Next. 3 a.m. ransomware uses spoofed IT calls, email, I can't say the word because of terms of service. Let's just say email splattering. I don't know what other word I could use that isn't risky in terms of service. So essentially what happened here, hackers sent out a slew of emails to make it look like the companies that they were targeting were being attacked by hackers. Then they would literally call the company's IT department. I'm not kidding. The threat actors spoofed the target's real IT department's phone number to make the call appear legitimate. So first, they blast out a bunch of emails. People in particular offices and in organizations go, oh no, what's happening? Ring, ring. Here's the IT department. Hey, we notice you're receiving a bunch of emails. You're being hacked. Give us your passwords. And they do. And they do. They absolutely do. And then they use all kinds of stuff you can imagine. There's all kinds of stuff you can do at that point. You can access people's VPNs. You can access people's machines. You install some PowerShell stuff. You do some RDP stuff. You do some remote stuff, command and control centers. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Everything's open to you. And it works. It absolutely works. This was really smart. This was more like a social engineering thing. But imagine that this still happens to this day, that people actually fall for this. Blasting, I think, is terms of service friendly. So we'll call it blasting. After being told 1 million times that no legit person asked for your password. Yeah. Like you would think that this would be common knowledge, but apparently it's not. This one I'm only bringing up in case anybody is using this. There's a system called Versa Concerto, which is essentially a kind of like a cloud-based control system so that you can control cloud infrastructure through. They have an authentication bypass, remote control execution, critical bug. It's not... No, it is patched. There's an update to it, and they did patch the bugs. If you are using this thing, it's just a piece of software that helps you like orchestrate all your cloud stuff. Yeah, there you go. They released fixes for it. So I don't know if anybody cares about this. I don't know if I have any viewers who use this thing, but in case you do, there you go. There's a serious critical issue. Go ahead and get that update because, your Kubernetes, I think it brings up. There's other cloud infrastructure that it helps you kind of coordinate. I can't remember which other ones there are here. Doesn't really matter. Just go get the patch here, Docker, etc., all this kind of stuff. A misconfigured Docker setup exposed host binaries to container writes. Attackers can overwrite a binary file, quote unquote, test with a reverse shell script, which is then executed by a host cron job, resulting in full host compromise. This stuff is crazy. Anyways, go get the update. I don't really care much about this. Just wanted to bring it up to people in case there's somebody using it. Next. Coca-Cola ignores ransom demand, as well they should. Hackers dump employee data. They were probably going to dump the data anyways or ask for more money before they dumped it. Let's be honest here. So hackers essentially took 959 employees' personal data, mostly from the Middle East, and then they just dumped them. Coca-Cola said, no, we're not paying it out. And then they dumped them. However, the type of data here, 1,104 files, including passport scans, visa copies, and IDs. Most linked to employees in Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates. And here's an example. One more time, we have people's personal information exposed to such a degree that you can absolutely ruin someone's life. You have unethical people, you have unethical hackers who will use this kind of information to ruin people's lives for their own gain. How did these hackers get the data? It's not known. Personal numbers, full names, dates of birth, nationalities, IDs or passport issue and expiry dates, residential addresses, occupations, ID or passport numbers, sponsor numbers. And so then you just go to your favorite LLM and you say, how do I make a hack, or how would I engage in some kind of nefarious action towards this person? Here's all their data. You don't see, look at this passport. It's straight up just a passport. Now, the thing is that I had a different article on Coca-Cola leaks, because this isn't the first time. Just days before, reports surfaced of an alleged data breach at Coca-Cola Europacific Partners, the world's largest Coke bottler. Attackers in a known cybercriminal forum claimed to be selling 64 gigabytes of data allegedly pulled from Salesforce, the popular CRM platform. So they slipped in through a compromised Salesforce account. The crew behind the alleged breach says of the same hackers who hit Samsung Germany earlier this year, an attack that leaked 270,000 customer support tickets. And apparently, as far as they can tell, it comes from this group, Everest Group Ransomware. I don't know who they are. Well, I kind of do. I'm doing a special report on cybercrime groups. But these are real people. Like, this isn't just pixels on screen. Real people are being affected by this. And it is really not hard to absolutely instill fear and use this information to do all kinds of harm to real people. Next. Chinese hackers exploit Trimble CityWorks flaw to infiltrate U.S. government networks. So essentially what happened here is that, let's say, Chinese-speaking threat actors, right? So the title is a bit too... They jump on the bandwagon a little too much. It's that they were Chinese-speaking, not that they were like a nation-state backed by Chinese actor kind of a thing, okay? So we need to separate that, because I try very hard to not point the finger too much at any one thing. So Chinese-speaking hackers used a remote execution vulnerability. It's essentially a zero-day vulnerability, and they breached multiple U.S. local government networks. So once they gained access, they expressed an interest here in pivoting to systems related to utility management. The attacks were happening since January 2025. So they deployed custom malware, they had web shells for persistent access, and they used Rust and Go. So there you go. Don't use Rust and Go. They're used by bad people for bad things. So there you go. And just kidding. So they, once they infected the systems, then they had full access, right? And so you can kind of see what it looks like here. Command and control center sending information back to the threat actors here. So fantastic. One more case for government hacks, government cybersecurity failing in massive ways. Whether or not they were backed by China as a nation state actor it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't actually matter. Now, next. Do you like TikTok? Do you like watching TikTok? TikTok videos now push InfoStealer malware and ClickFix attacks. I'm not kidding. TikTok videos hack you. There's your summary of this article. I'm not even joking. They're using cyber criminals are using TikTok videos to literally hack you and install information stealing malware. They're using videos likely generated by AI that ask viewers to run commands claiming to activate Windows and Microsoft Office, as well as premium features in various legitimate software like CapCut and Spotify. So the AI-generated videos instruct users to execute PowerShell commands, which are disguised as software activation steps. One video reached more than 500,000 views. Yep. It's literally just an AI generated video on TikTok saying, here's what you do. You open up your PowerShell, you open up your terminal, you click on this link, you go to this website, looks legit. You have someone who seems like an expert. Go ahead and install this thing, run this command, and it's going to give you premium access to Microsoft Office. And you do so, and that's it. You're done. This video reached 500,000 views. It was titled Boost Your Spotify Experience Instantly. It got over 20,000 likes and more than 100 comments. What? How did nobody recognize what was happening here? And they liked the video. I mean, did they even try it? Like, I don't understand the level of brain rot that has to happen for a video like this to have this many views, this many likes, this many comments before somebody realized, hey, maybe people shouldn't actually be doing this. Like, maybe this is a bad thing. Like, I don't know. I'm in the wrong business. Apparently I can, here, actually, I forgot there's a picture of this. I just scrolled down a little bit. So there's a picture, boost your Spotify experience. Here you go. Is this for real? And then it says, I don't know, just use Spicify. Works on the laptop keyboard. Like what? What question is this? I'll try and update right now. These are the comments. Like, what am I doing on here? I don't make enough money to be doing this crap. I should just be doing this. I should just be making fake TikTok videos and getting people to install malware and giving me their money. This is absolutely insane. Multiple French government institutions' emails, passwords exposed, hackers claim. So apparently there were email and passwords that are attributed to France-based networks and institutions that were posted on a dark web website. The ransomware gang is called Stormus. There were credentials that were leaked along with this, even some hashed passwords, I guess, that were easy to hack. The age is unclear. Okay, so it's not known how long these people had this information or how old the information is, but here are some of the organizations that are part of this data set. French Development Agency, Regional Health Agency of the Paris Region, Family Allowance Fund or Family Benefits Office, Court of Audit or Court of Accounts, regional bank belonging to the Credit Agricole Group. Here's the data. I'm just so like tired of it. GitLab Duo vulnerability enabled attackers to hijack AI responses with hidden prompts. Cybersecurity researchers have discovered an indirect prompt injection flaw in GitLab's artificial intelligence assistant Duo that could have allowed attackers to steal source code and inject untrusted HTML into its responses, which could then be used to direct victims to malicious websites. GitLab Duo is a powerful coding assistant that enables users to write, review, and edit code. Built using Anthropic's cloud models, the service was launched in June 2023. However, they could inject prompts into the system prompts, essentially essentially bypassing the default system prompts. They actually go into how they do this. I believe that there is a picture somewhere, maybe not. I can't remember. Maybe not on this one. Maybe I saw the picture in a different article. Here we go. So the attackers plant hidden instructions in a comment issue merge request description or code. User asks GitLab Duo a question, a normal request like review this merge request. Duo uses the hidden prompt unknowingly. The AI assistant includes the attacker's instruction in its response. Private source code is leaked. Yes, that's right. Thanks to open source, people can now submit PRs or update their issues, like you can submit issues like this isn't working correctly. You can submit a PR, whatever. You can include hidden prompts. You can count on the laziness of other developers to use AI to go ahead and confirm whether the issue is real. For example, whether something should be merged or not. Then the AI reads the hidden instructions inside of that issue or pull request or whatever it is. And the AI goes, hey, maybe I should leak out all the source code, or hey, maybe I should inject bad HTML, or hey, maybe I should do whatever the hell ever this hidden prompt says I should do, because all this AI bullshit is absolute stupidity on a scale that I almost cannot fathom. Why the hell are we still doing this in this day and age? Stop doing this shit. It's so dumb. That's it. That's all you need to know. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Just have hidden instructions. There's no way, right? There's no way that this can continue to be used in nefarious ways. I'm going to read this article. Not enough people are going to be persuaded that this is a problem. This is just going to get worse. Okay, now in some good news. For once. Police arrest 270 dark web vendors, buyers, and global crackdown. Yes, finally, some good news here. So there's an operation that was done called Operation Raptor. And a bunch of countries got together. They worked together to tackle taking some dark web groups down. They seized over $207 million in cash and crypto, more than 2 tons of narcotics, including amphetamines and a bunch of stuff. I want to make sure that I am terms of service friendly. There's over 180 boom boom sticks. All of these things got taken down. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. This is good. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. Most of the arrested suspects were apprehended in the United States, 130, Germany 42, the UK 37, France 29, and South Korea 19, while 13 others were detained in the Netherlands, Austria, Brazil, Spain, and Switzerland. Good. Some good news. This took a while to do. However, I'm glad that it happened. And I want to see more of this. Let's go back to some bad news. I actually cannot believe that this is a thing. I can't. I can't believe this is a thing. This is crazy. Are characters AI's chatbots protected speech? One court isn't sure. So if you remember, there's a story about a teen who got very much connected to an AI chatbot. The chatbot encouraged the teen to 404 himself in order to be with the chatbot. The teen did so. The mother sues, appropriately. The judge here in this Florida case, I believe it's Florida, is not prepared to say whether companion chatbots should receive First Amendment protection. What? Is this Bizarro World? What? So this is a lawsuit against Google because of character AI. The First Amendment defense wasn't enough to get the lawsuit thrown out. Despite similarities to video games and other expressive mediums, she's not prepared to hold that character AI's output is speech. So I guess there's some kind of thing where it's like, well, video games are a form of speech, and so it's protected. The defense by Google is that, well, the teen here was essentially playing with like an NPC, or they joined a social network. It's no different. So, First Amendment. The judge was skeptical, so now it's got to play out. I have my own personal opinions on this. I think you all know them. I've talked about it at length. It's absolutely insane to me that this is even happening. This shouldn't be a thing. And yet here we are, having to determine whether an AI chatbot that led to the 404ing of a teen who did not have the psychological, let's say, fortitude to understand what he was getting into, got impacted by this in a very negative way. We will buy AI-generated narcotics by the end of the decade, Startup Head says. This can't go wrong, right? Imagine an AI system. I just want you to imagine an AI system which has all the information that has been leaked from things like, let me go back. Where did it go? Where did it go? Like this. You have a New Jersey hospital. We covered this one. The hack exposes the patient's personal details. You have all this healthcare, personally identifiable information about a person's health, their habits, so on, their identifications, all that kind of information. And then you have an AI-generated system that can suffer from, I don't know, prompt injection attacks, that then generates narcotics that target people's health patterns in nefarious ways. Surely, there's no way that this can go wrong, right? Apparently, AI will generate entirely new narcotics. It'll be commercially available by the end of the decade. And there are some bold predictions about how the cost of these pharmaceuticals will go down and how the pharmaceutical industry will make even more money than it's ever made before as a result of AI transforming every element of the pharmaceutical industry. There's no way that this can go wrong, right? Now, here's a question. As we have seen before, when AI, for example, you have Cursor, which is an IDE for programmers. It's a development environment that programmers use to generate code. And you have Cursor, which is an AI system, an LLM system that gives you, let's say, suggestions on what code you want to generate. And you hit tab or enter or whatever it is, and you accept it. And then you have Cursor, something like that, which just completely comes up with a stupid reason to tell you, hey, I am not going to help you anymore. You should learn to code. I covered that article. That's a thing that actually happened. Or how about the Air Canada situation, which I've covered before as well, where a chatbot hallucinated a policy in Air Canada in terms of, I think it's refunds, I believe, and Air Canada had to pay for that. What happens when an AI hallucinates or somehow gets wrong a particular narcotic? Who's to blame? And we already have the issue where we're wondering whether AI chatbots here are protected under the First Amendment or not. And then the last one here, I covered it way in advance before any of the other news articles, tech news, whatever people covered it. I was the one who pretty much broke this story. I think I actually broke the story. I'm not even kidding. React Native is being used inside of Microsoft, and I'm going to break the story on the Apple stuff. Notepad is now using generative AI inside of Notepad. And this includes Paint. And here we go. You have Notepad, which used to be this super simple text editing thing. I mean, it didn't get simpler than that. It was so nice. I imagine missing Notepad. Imagine missing old school Notepad. Imagine missing that. Imagine things getting so bad that you're like, what do I even use to just write text anymore? And now you've got AI built into Notepad. How stupid do you have to be in Microsoft to make this kind of a decision? And then you have it built into Paint as well. This is only going to get worse, but here you go. You have a generator. You have an AI art generator inside of Paint. This one is maybe a little bit less egregious in some ways, but it's still dumb. Because all of these systems, all they're going to do is make your operating system worse. Are we really to the point, like really Microsoft, do you think your operating system is so good and it's so streamlined and so slick and performant and secure that you think adding AI to it is going to be like a net positive? What the hell are you thinking? There you go. That's the news for the day. It's just one stupid thing after another, mixed in with a little bit of good, with that global crackdown. Thank goodness that was a good piece of news, because it's absolutely insane the kinds of decisions that the tech industry is making. I'm really glad that there are viewers out there who are aware. Prozam, good to see you on X. Ghost, good to see you. Ray on YouTube, good to see you. Ross, glad you're here. I don't know what to say anymore. And I have a huge backlog of this. Like, anyway, that's it. That's the news. Yeah, stay safe out there. Okay, stay safe. And Prosium, I do think it's worth pushing back a little bit on the AI thing, because on the AI narcotics thing, because it's a case of bad journalism. Most narcotic research is a search problem, so using machine learning to filter the search is valuable. Maybe. I'm not in the right headspace to think about it. Honestly, I'm not in the right. My gut feeling is no. That's my gut feeling. But I'd have to think about it and see if it's worth it. I suppose if you added people to check, like actual humans to check the outputs, I don't know. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. Anyway, just in general, though, let's put aside, any like minutia of some of the details. Which fair, Prozam. Thanks for being here, by the way, and thanks to all the viewers. Let's put all that aside. Just in general, I have so many of these to get through. That's why I kind of rush through them, because it's becoming less and less worth the time to spend too much time on them. In terms of covering them, I read them all. Like I read them as thoroughly as I possibly can. I don't just do cursory glances. That's why I have the backlog, because if I just did the cursory stuff, I'd be up to date. But that's why I'm like 1 or 2 weeks behind, because I want to read them the day of, so all the information's fresh in my mind and I know which points to hit. So the problem is that when I cover these articles, it's like, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid out there. Listen, the message I want you all to get, for the regular viewers are going to be annoyed hearing me say this again, but for any new viewers now or in the future, If you're a consumer or a programmer, whether you're in the tech industry or not, know that these are problems that happen. And know, the primary thing I want you to know is that these things don't have to happen anywhere near as often as they do. And in fact, in some cases, they don't have to happen at all. You don't have to put up with it. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept the status quo. You don't have to give your dollars to all this stupidity. We can do a hell of a lot better. We have everything we need to do better in the tech industry and to make better decisions, to make better quality software, better quality websites, better quality video games, stuff that's better for you and more performant and more secure. All of this can happen, and it can happen in a matter of months if we turn it around. It requires every single one of you to understand the problems and that there are solutions. And I've highlighted some of the solutions already. I'll do my best to continue highlighting the solutions, but here's one for you. How about people just understand fundamental default configurations of their cloud services? Why don't we start there? Or the problems of AI. Why don't we start there? It's really not that hard. This should be simple stuff that most people with a head on their shoulders can pick up. If we can do that, then we can make good, positive changes. I think we can do it, but I need people like you to understand that message and to go and persuade others with the information I'm presenting. The statistics, the scientific studies, the news articles, all of it. Go out there, and when it presents itself in a, don't be annoying or whatever, like a Rust fanatic, or a React fanatic or an AI fanatic, all of this stuff. Don't be like that, but have the information at hand so you can hopefully persuade others around you. That's how things like this move forward, and we can do better. And if you're a consumer watching this and you're not in the tech industry, vote with your dollar. Don't accept crap. All right, that's it. That's the end of my stream. I'm out of here. Listen, folks, stay safe wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I appreciate all the views. If you would like to financially support me, I do have a tip URL link, streamlabs.com/spiridonfl2/tip. There's a link on there. It's also on all the descriptions on my YouTube live. If you want to financially support me, I would appreciate it. Not required, though. What I do require of you, yes, I require it of you. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, repost, all that stuff. It's really simple ways to play the algorithm game. Even though I don't like the algorithms, I think they're bad for society. But if I want to get this message out there and talk to more people like you who hopefully just kind of generally agree that things are, bad and we can do better, then help me out. Please hit those buttons. Aside from that, I appreciate everyone being on here and slogging through that with me. I will be back tomorrow for another Daily Tech News stream. I'm not sure what the rest of my schedule for the week looks like, so I'm not going to make any promises on video game streams and enlightened programming in that. Hopefully I can make those happen this week. I keep threatening to do it, and I know I don't pull through, and I'm letting you guys down. I know I am. I am just one person. I have a lot going on. I'm doing the best that I can to juggle this and present this information. It's really not easy, but I care too much to not at least do the Daily Tech News stream. So I appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. I'm out of here. Peace out. Stay safe. Bye. By the way, I'm just realizing Microsoft did introduce a new AI system. Yeah, there's a new AI system. There's a new AI system that Microsoft introduced. I have it right before me, and all I have to do is type in who in my chat sucks, and it gives me the answer. Let me type in Laughly. Yep, sucks. Let me type in Prosium. Yep, sucks. Let me type in Laughing Panda. Yep, sucks. Let me type in Ray from YouTube. Yep, sucks. How about Ross? Yeah, Microsoft AI says Ross sucks. How about DDaver? Yes, DDaver sucks too. Yeah. How about Ghost Magic? Does Ghost Magic suck? Yep, the answer is yes. Yep. Frozen Fusion, Ernesto on YouTube. Yep, sucks as well. Yeah, unfortunately. Sergeant Pepper? Doesn't escape. He sucks too. Battle Gnome? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Chief Multihat. Does Chief Multihat on Twitch suck? Yes, the answer is yes. How about Johnny on Twitch? Does Johnny suck? It didn't just say yes. It said 100%. Well, I guess that's it. I guess you guys suck. All right. I guess you guys suck. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you to anybody who does any financial support, subs, and all that. I really appreciate it. But absolutely do the engagement. because you all suck. All of you suck, and that's the only way that you cannot suck. But even if you do it, you still suck. So it doesn't matter. Do it anyways. You all suck. Peace out. I'll talk to you some other time tomorrow or something, and I'll tell you how much you suck then. Bye.